everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Headstrong Podcast. I'm your host, Danielle Mills, and I'm here with a phenomenal guest. This woman I've known for many years now. We had the opportunity to work with each other back in the day, but we've come full circle again, and I'm so happy for you all to meet Gail Gensler. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So Gail is such a phenomenal lady. She does so many different things, but I want you all to get a chance to get to know her better. So Gail, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm originally from New York. I grew up there, and my family moved to Florida a very long time ago. I'm not sure I'm ready to tell you that yet. And at this point, I've actually lived in South Florida longer than I've ever lived in New York. And I enjoy living in Miami. I lived in Aventura for about 25 years and then relocated to the Brickell area because it is much more like New York City, which is where my heart will always be. I've been in the automotive business for over 30 years, and I've recently started my own personal business, my own personal brand as well. And the biggest thing that anybody should know about me is that I am a huge fitness fanatic.
You truly are. When did this passion for fitness, when did it begin? Like, what started this?
My entire life. I have always been athletic. Growing up, I was on the tennis team. I was on the volleyball team. I went to sleepaway camp every summer. All you do is play sports all day. I was a star tetherball player. So I was always hitting something, and always playing sports. So it's in my DNA. It's just part of who I am, and I never let it go. And as the years went by and fitness studios started to open, I actually really started working out back in 1983.
Okay. And then you're really into like boxing though. Is that like your favorite out of everything that you could do?
Favorite. I love boxing. I love kickboxing. I took my first boxing lesson at a gym that I belonged to in Aventura for 17 years in 1999. And as the saying goes, I was hooked. And when I looked at why boxing resonates with me so greatly, I realized it's because I was always hitting things: tennis, volleyball, tetherball. It is a very empowering sport. I lose myself. As soon as I start to box or kickbox, I'm just lost in the motion. I'm lost in the energy and the pure joy of doing it. It's fun. It's fun.
Wow. I know she actually took me to a kickboxing class, and it was so much fun just getting to like release and kick and hit. But let's talk about a time where maybe things were not going so good. And, some adversity maybe that you experienced. Like, can you tell us about a time where maybe you had some big adversity that you were trying to overcome? Kind of, how did you get through that? And did fitness help you?
Fitness has always been always present in my life. Hello, pumpkin. The cat is joining. I've actually never stopped. And I did go through a very dark time in my life when I was getting a divorce. But I never stopped. That remains consistent. It grounds me. So I think it's very important as human beings to have a routine to be in. And that is my routine. And that kept me grounded and steady. So I just pushed through. I'm very much I try and be in the present. I don't want to waste time thinking and worrying about the future. Somebody once said to me, a worry is like paying interest. Why would you worry about paying interest on the future? It's not something I want to do. So I'm in the moment. I'm dealing with what needs to be dealt with. I'm allowed to have what I call the 3-minute cry, and then moving forward.
Where do you think this stems from? Like, were you always this way? Did you learn it from somebody? Were your parents very integral in that, or did that just
come from? I am my dad's girl, all through and through and through. I love my mother. She was a wonderful mother. I couldn't have asked for any better, but it really was my dad that left his imprint. Everything from my sales ability, my work ethic, my ability to public speak. He was a supreme athlete when he was young. I get it all from him. And he just, no matter what happened in life, he was just steady and consistent in his program, no matter what he was doing.
Whenever I talk with people, I always talk about like the relationship with their parents. Do you feel like your relationship with your dad, did he instill a lot of confidence in you? Was he the one that was like pushing you to do things and he kind of lifted you up?
I don't know that they ever really pushed me. I think that that's just innate within myself. I was always the kid that came home. I did my homework. Nobody ever had to say anything to me. And thankfully, my daughter is exactly the same. But I came home, I did my homework, and then I went out and I did my thing. I've always had a very strong sense of responsibility, which again does come from my parents. But I had extremely loving parents, extremely loving grandparents, extremely loving brothers. So I always had tremendous support from my entire family, which instilled a sense of self-confidence.
Yeah, no, that's so big because a lot of the listeners and the watchers on here are dealing with confidence issues. They are not feeling so confident. You know, what type of advice would you give our listeners who are trying to become more confident or portray confidence in their lives?
It's so easy to get lost in the not reality of what you see on Instagram or anywhere in social media or on television. And so you have to have the moment of truth with yourself and understand you are your own unique person. You have your unique competencies, your unique talents, your unique skill sets, your own type of beauty, whatever that may be, and you can't compare. You have to give up the comparisons because there's always going to be somebody taller and thinner or more muscular or with better abs or with more abilities or more this or more that. And then you start, it's like shoulda. You're like all over yourself. You're shitting all over yourself. Let that all go. You have to realize that you have your own sense of all those things, of skill sets and competencies and beauties and talents and all these wonderful things that make you uniquely you. And when you stop comparing, that's where the inner strength comes from.
No, that's like such a great answer. You know, just to kind of piggyback off what you're saying, being unique and being yourself is the only thing that is like, nobody can change that, you know, like being unique. And so many people, like you said, are comparing themselves to people like they see.
That comes with age too, Danielle. I have to tell you that although I've always been supremely confident, the comparison to other people really stopped when I got into my 50s. It really changed. And mind you, I have to tell you, I'm 59 and a half now. I don't compare myself to anybody. Thank you. I do not. I compare myself to me, and all I want to do is be the best version of myself that I can possibly be, day in and day out, no matter what endeavor we're talking about, whether it's my regular business life or my personal business goals or my workouts. I'm not comparing my workouts to anybody else's. They're mine, and I love them, and I own them, and I don't care that somebody's better at this or has a better six-pack than I do. Good for them. Everybody should be successful. My success doesn't take away from your success.
You're so right. You're so right. What is it about when you hit your 50s that you had that like realization that like it wasn't about that?
And again, I think this comes from being a unicorn, right? Yeah. Because there aren't very many people at 59 years old that are still in beast mode. So
talk to us a little bit more about what you mean by being in beast mode and kind of how you are very different from the average everyday person who's, you know, getting into their 60s.
So I think it starts on every level. So on a mental level and an emotional level, I have a very youthful, vibrant outlook on life.
Yes, you do.
I really want to extract all the fun that the universe has to offer. Whether it's the travel that I do every year, I travel internationally, other than right now, obviously, current situation notwithstanding. I travel every year to experience new cultures because that's fun and it's interesting, and you get to engage with people that you never would have come across. I'm always in amazement of new things. I always want to learn new things. I'm wondrous at things, right? I'm curious about things, and I think once you stop being curious and having fun and enjoying things, that's when you grow old. You grow old when you stop exercising. You don't not exercise because you're old. I see it the other way. I can because I do, not I do because I can.
Love that.
I can because I do. And the more I do, the more I can. So, and I push myself. I challenge myself. How much more can I do? How many more punches? How many more kicks? How many more reps can I do? How much more weight can I lift? How many more different types of workouts? I'll try them. I'm not going to be the best at all of them. And some of them have been very humbling, I will have to say, but I did it. I did it. And that's all that matters is I crossed that personal hurdle.
Do you think it's because you love the feeling of doing something that you didn't think you could do, or like the feeling of accomplishment once you finished a tough workout or a tough exercise, because when you're speaking, I see so much of myself in you, because I love pushing myself harder than I think I can go. And I know a lot of people want that. They don't know how to do that. And they feel like, they don't feel motivated. Like how would you help somebody who is not so motivated right now, get that sense of like, let's go?
You have to find something that you love. I could talk to you and be passionate about boxing all day long, but if you do it and you go, it's great, but I really like my tennis better, then I would say find what you love to do, because if you don't find something that you love, you're not going to stay consistent with it. I don't even think about it. I just go and I can't wait. It's the best part of my day.
You're a morning person, right?
I am a morning person. I'm at the boxing gym at 6 a.m., but I have to say that during quarantine, I actually found myself doing 2 virtual workouts a day.
Talk to us about that. Like, that goes into my next question. During COVID-19, everybody is in this state of like uncertainty, and a lot of people are struggling. Like, how have you kind of held up during this time, and like, what have you been doing?
I'm always a woman with a plan. I'm a planner. I've had to be. I absolutely have had to always be prepared. I had a lot of responsibility. Once I decided to get divorced, I had an infant, and I had a lot of responsibility on my plate. So it just is in my nature to always be prepared. And when I started reading about COVID very early on, I thought, something, I'd rather look back and say I was overprepared than I was not prepared. So immediately I got a set of weights. Immediately I asked a subject matter expert, what sort of standing boxing bag should I get? And she immediately told me, this is it from Century Martial Arts, get the Wave Master. And I immediately ordered that.
When was this, by the way? How early was this?
March, the very beginning of March.
Okay.
Yeah, very beginning. You know what? It might have actually been late. I take it back. I think it was late February.
Yes,
yeah.
You were very early.
I was really early in the game. I thought,
something.
I'd rather just have it in my house. It's never going to be something that goes to waste. There could be that day, right? That's what I love, amongst many other things that I love to shop for. But this is my passion that fuels me. So I got booty bands. I got an ab roller. I had the weights. I had the Wave Master. And then I thought, this is a great opportunity to take advantage of people's workouts that I wouldn't normally go to because they're not convenient. And so I actually signed up for 3 of them.
Ooh, talk about that.
One is a complete virtual program. She was a boxing instructor from 9 years ago who has always been, for me, up here. I mean, she is the best. So I signed up for her program, which is strictly an online. She was early in the game. She just celebrated like a year and a half of being online only.
That's so smart.
So I did hers. Another one who I love her energy. She's incredible, but she's in the Aventura area. And so it's a bit tough for me to get there. So I thought, okay, this is great. She's here in my bedroom. And then there was somebody else that I had also met 9 years ago. And I thought, this guy's a pro. He was a pro boxer. He is a pro coach. And I thought, this is a good time for me to really work on the actual skill and get because I haven't had a lesson in boxing in a very long time.
Because you're so good.
I had the 3 of them, and I thought, this is great. And then all of these great workouts started appearing on Instagram, and now I'm like an overload. I've always archived great workouts because I like to incorporate them into the things that I do to get creative. But now my library is like this big, and I was like actually overwhelmed. I said, oh my God, there's like people from all over the world, and this is great. So I actually it's actually something that I do before I go to bed. I go through all the workouts that I've archived, and then I go, yes, I'll keep that one now. Oh, I could put that in there, and then I start getting creative, and I'm having a great time.
So it sounds like during this time, you have maximized the fact that we have been 100%. In a state of, luckily during this time, you've been, I believe you've still been working this whole time, which is phenomenal.
The entire time. So I'm blessed in that I still was in my routine. And I'm very much, if you haven't already figured that out, I'm very much a routine-based person. So I had my routine every single day. I got up, I did my 6 o'clock workout. I was at work by 8. Very stressful. Hence, I think the second virtual workout, I needed it when I got home from work because it was a very emotionally charged time and very frightening, very scary. And so again, the working out really kept me grounded.
I have to ask you a question you're not ready for. If you couldn't work out, if they took away the ability to work out for you, what would you do? Like, would that be like the worst thing ever? Because that's like your lifeline.
I can't run outside either?
No, like nothing.
I don't know. I don't, again, I don't like to go down the rabbit hole of an impossible situation.
Yeah,
I'm
'cause for
always
you,
looking for the way out. I'm always looking for that, the art of possibility, like what is possible as opposed to what's not possible. And that's the positive person, and that again comes from my dad because he was the supreme optimist, and I get my optimism from him.
No, it's so great that you talk about that because I tried to like trick you there because I'm also such a positive person and like we can't even fathom that idea that that wouldn't be a thing. Like you were in your mind, you're like you shifted and you're like, no, it can't be that way.
I don't want to go down that road. It's not productive for my mental and emotional well-being.
No, absolutely. Oh my gosh, this has been so awesome. Okay, so we have to talk about what's next for you. What do you see yourself doing in the next like 6 months to a year? Like what should we be looking out for you in the future? Because I know people want to stay connected with you and be attached to everything that you have going on.
So I was fortunate that at a fitness event, I met a wonderful social media agent. I had been interviewing people and it just didn't, nothing resonated with me. And the moment I met her, I knew that this was my woman. And so she has really helped me to broaden my understanding of how powerful social media is, how pictures should look, so on and so forth. So I hired her and we do 2 photo shoots a month and she edits them and we made an agreement. I'm a quote person. I get that actually from the owner of the company that I've been with now for 21 years. He was always a man of quotes. And so I go through and I archive all quotes about positive aging and embracing your age and never giving up and all things possible. And then when I get the pictures back, I spend time every single night and I attach a quote to it. And so I've been doing that and I'm so blessed and so honored that so many people reach out to me and say, you're so inspiring. You're lying. You're not 59. There's no way. And no, I'm actually proudly 59. And so I'm going to keep going with that because I love inspiring people. I've also started blogging. I was asked to blog for Century Martial Arts, where I got the Wave Master badge from.
Wow, that's so awesome.
I'm blogging for her, and then I met another very dynamic couple from the Aventura area at the boxing gym I'm going to now, Mickey Demo's Boxing. I met another wonderful couple, and they asked me if I would blog for them too. And so I'm blogging for them as well. And so I'm just writing from... I'm not a subject matter expert. I'm not a professional. I'm not a fitness professional. I am just a woman who loves fitness and I'm very into anti-aging. I just don't believe that because there's a number in front of me that denotes the year that I was born, that should mean anything. It really doesn't. And I'm not embarrassed to say that I'm vain and I bring a lot of people on my journey. I have a wonderful dermatologist. I have a wonderful plastic surgeon. And so I use that on the aesthetic side and I'm always on the hunt for great new products, which I've been very blessed. A lot of people have asked me to try their products and see how I feel about them, which is wonderful. I have a supplement routine, which again is just for me doing a lot of personal research and deciding what works for me and the issues that I have. And general immunity and wellness. And so that's my goal. My goal is to make people more aware that just because you're in your 50s, I'm approaching 60, it should mean nothing. Right. It should mean, again, as long as your general state of health is good. But I do believe that because I move so much, that my body still continues to perform. And my performance level is no better than it was a decade ago. And this I've been told by people that have known me for a long time or seen me box for a very long time.
Wow. That is so inspiring, you know, like it truly is inspiring. Like what is like 3 things that you would recommend that we do to help anti-age for the future? Like what are 3 things that you do that really like impact you overall? They could be anything.
The narrative about aging has to change, which I know there's a movement, and I'm part of a very wonderful and comprehensive community on Instagram of women that are over 50 who have similar sentiments that I do. So it's the narrative in your mind has to change. It's the self-talk to say that just because I'm 59 doesn't mean this or this or this. You can redefine what that means for you, and I certainly have redefined what it means. And keep on playing and having fun, whatever that fun is. Mine, fortunately, for my mind and body, happens to be fitness. So it has multifaceted benefits along the way. But whatever it is that you find fun, you have to keep engaged. You have to be engaged in life. You can't just let it go, and you can't live for other people. You have to live for yourself. It's your unique life. And at the end, you're going to be the one holding your own hand. No matter what kind of support system you have at the end, you have to go to sleep at night with yourself, whether you have somebody by your side or you don't. You're going to sleep with yourself and your own consciousness, and knowing who you are and what you stand for and what you believe in.
Oh my gosh. Gail, I feel like you epitomize living in the present.
Yes.
And being intentional, which is things we talk about often on this podcast, and just like the power of that, you know, like it's been so inspiring to hear from you.
And it's funny because I didn't really understand intentional living, and I started doing a lot of research on it. And one of my sister-in-laws always said to me, what she finds so amazing about me is that I'm always looking forward. I'm never dwelling in the past, which is extremely unproductive.
Right.
And I'm working on what's going on now and then moving forward. And then I realized that's what intentional living actually is. It is living for the present time and just grabbing everything that you can from life and enjoying what's happening right now. Like I'm enjoying what's happening right now because it's so positive and it's so inspiring.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So Gail, can you leave our listeners with one last word before we sign off today that they can take with them for the rest of this week that they can do?
Don't ever let anybody tell you what you can and cannot do. That is your personal decision. And if I still want to go to a boxing gym and smack the bag and kick the bag, why not? Why not? Do not let anybody tell you what you can and can't do. You know what you can and can't do. Maybe you're frightened to try it, but I would urge you, just go for it.
Thank you so much, Gail.
You're
welcome.
It's
been a pleasure, and we hope to have you back again.
Absolutely. I'd be honored to come back. This is great. I love it.
Thank you.